Air conditioning and life made simple with Bryon and Ethan. I call him Jim, or E.T., James, or Jimmy, or Ethan, right? He's got a whole bunch of names. You got a whole bunch of names, partner. I sure do love you, buddy. So we're on a call. We're on our way, right? We're driving, right? And this call really is, I've already been out, I diagnosed it. The compressor terminal blew. So when that one connector on the compressor, electrical connector, is a start winding. When it blew, it popped that melt connector, it popped it out, and it lost all the refrigerant. So behind that connection is refrigerant, something we don't think about, we take for granted, right? So it's just right there on the other side. I don't know what happened. The compressor's only 2 years old, a year and a half. It doesn't have an expansion valve on the refrigerant line at the indoor coil. It has a piston. It's 410A. That's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna look for a 4-ton, just an average 4-ton piston size for 410A indoor piston size, and see if it matches, because I'm gonna look and see if there's, I'm gonna open it up and look and see if there's some type of restriction. The filter dryer is right there at the indoor coil. You can take that out. I'll blow through that and see if there's a restriction, because I'm thinking restriction 50%, or it's just a weak construction of that terminal, on the compressor. I don't know any other reason, because the guy's like, man, it was working perfect, cooling perfect before. I don't know, I've never been there until the other day. So we're gonna replace the compressor. So join us as we replace this compressor. If you've never replaced a compressor before, this is your video. We're gonna make it simple. Get in there. Jim, you're gonna do the camera thing and tell me what to do. Yep. And we're gonna have a helper. The homeowner will be helping. It seems like he likes to learn things, and he's that way. That type of guy. So, yeah, here we go. Here we are. So here's our LG compressor replacement. Here, there it is right there, come in the box. And we also have, very important, it comes with connections to mount it, and then we have our compressor plug right here, which is I don't know if that's the, it looks different. Interesting. So I'll have to see how they have that hooked up. There, it's a different type of connector. And then a sheet to fill out because of the burnout. So we'll just take this whole thing over there and get ready, huh, Jim? Okay, so we have we've got an LG compressor that they gave. The one that's in there is Emerson, but Carrier says that this is the one that supersedes. This is the one they want in there. So maybe that's why, you know, something was happening with the compressor. I don't know the old one and why it blew in a year and a half. But we need to add an acid scavenger to it. And when you're adding the acid scavenger, you need to make sure that it matches the actual oil that's inside for the refrigerant, and that's POE and POE. Anytime you replace a compressor, you need to dump this in there. Very, very important. So this goes up to 5 tons, and we're gonna pretty much put the whole thing, and we're gonna dump it right in here. So we want it to go all the way down into the bottom and mix with the oil. So we'll just squirt it. Very slowly. And so it just mixes with that oil down below, and then eventually it'll go throughout the whole system with the refrigerant. That's it right there. That's it, put the whole thing. Good job, Jim. All right, buddy. He's 11?
Yeah.
All right, so we're also, as you can see, gonna replace this old crusty terminal harness. And we'd have to replace it anyways because the one that comes with the new compressor is not like this, so we need to take it out. Wait, that's there. So next thing is unloosening those screws, the 1/2-inch screws. There's 4 of them from the foundation of the condensing unit. And then we're going to come in here and try to cut this. I think we should be okay with cutting it here and here, and then just sliding it in to the new compressor. I remember doing this by hand, and I would be way down inside there with a socket wrench for like 30 minutes getting the screws out of the compressor. And I'm like, man, they've got a chuck thing we could use. So made a huge difference. So yeah, 12-inch extension, and then we rock it, make sure it's loose right there, and then we're going to cut the copper out. So Ethan's getting after it. So they come with the new grommets, a shock absorber, I call them. This guy vibrates like crazy. All right, and then we'll grab the metal, and then we'll just slide them in the center. So these little spacers or bushings, I'll keep it from rattling. Okay. Okay, so this guy is ready to go, Jim. So come over here. Get this guy out. And there's no refrigerant in the system, so we don't need to worry about it like exploding in our face, because there's no refrigerant. Okay, so there's one right here. And then what we'll do, as soon as we get the compressor out, we'll sandpaper it. Yep. You want to get as close to the compressor as possible. So you have to feel underneath for that, the old solder, to see if it's right there, because if there's a bubble of solder, it'll mess up your cut. So this is good. This is good. And remember, when you're doing a compressor like this and you have something that's pretty much straight on replacement, you have some play with this copper, because it's soft copper, just like that. All right, good. Ready? So here's the new one, or the old one is here. New one's there, but you can see, come down in here, zoom in here. You see where that terminal blue right there, and that terminal it came out, that's where it lost all the refrigerant. So I like to put these in before we line up the copper, because then we know exactly where we need to be. So this is a 1/2 inch. An old timer taught me to sand it like this. He would correct me every single time when I first started in Houston, because I would do this right here, like that. He's like, "You're missing stuff. You're missing stuff." And it wasn't until later that I understood that I was missing stuff. So really, you only have to grab it here on top and hug it, and on the bottom, and it gets everything. Crank these things on here, and so when we're soldering a compressor, we've got our nitrogen going right there, so we want that to go through just a little bit. Let's make sure. Is that coming out? Okay, right there. Run that a little bit through. So we want that nitrogen to be flowing through there, so that way if there's any carbon buildup, and which there will be when you heat up the copper, it'll minimize it. But after I do this one, Jim, you can stand back, all right? Because that bottom one's going to get a little hairy. There's still oil in that. Well, we just heat up our male first, then we heat up the female. So to suck it in. Yep. Okay, so we're now at the inside unit, and what we want to do here is we want to take this old filter dryer out, if we can, the best we can. I mean, we might be able to unsweat it right here and just pop it out, but also I want to take this piston out right here and to see if there's anything inside there that shouldn't be. I'm going to see if I can do that right now. So we'll just, okay, that's a little loose. That was pretty loose. That compression was pretty loose, so that's not good. But here we are. So we'll take a look here. We want to look at the actual O-ring here. So the O-ring it's just a little plastic round piece that compresses. So this is a compression fitting. And then I want to look at that piston right there. So just keep an eye on it. There it is right there. Right here. So this is the piston we're looking at. Can you see that? It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear inside. That's what we want. But we also want to see what size it is. So on this piston, it's going to have a little number right there.
048.
Is that 048?
Yes, sir.
Where do you see that, babe? There we go. Nope. 084? That's 084 right there. 084. All right. Okay, so we took the old filter dryer out, and actually I'm going to blow in it right now. It's clear. So filter dryer was not a restriction. That's not a problem. We're going to take it outside and sweat this off. Here's our new filter dryer, which is about the same size. Yeah, just about the same size, and that's what we want. Just a little bigger, a little heftier. So we'll sweat this thing in here. Piston is actually the right size. So 0.84 to 0.80, and this is 0.84. So this piston size is right. I'm just going to put it in there, and it should be fine. You ready? Let's go outside, Jeff. Soy bobo.
Started.
Put our piston in there, and then line this up. What is that? Right there. I'd like to line it up first and then start tightening it in. We'll snug it down. You don't want to snug too much because it's got a plastic O-ring, and you'll flatten it out, and then you actually spread it out to where it doesn't seal. So you don't want to put too much pressure. We want about 20 foot-pounds, probably 15. All right, so we're gonna pressure test it. So we're going to add nitrogen to the system to see if we got any leaks. So we'll open up our gauges here. So we want to check for leaks. So right now we're pressurizing the condensing unit and the evaporator coil and line set, all of it. Normally on an install you wouldn't do the whole thing, but since we replaced the compressor, we've got it open. So all right, so I like to start at about 80, 88 and start doing a leak search right then, because we don't want to waste our gas. Matt, you can tell that extension cord's been rolled up 1,000 times.
I was telling him, you can try to wind it up the best you can, and man, and next time you unwind it, it'll be in a knot, knot and a half.
Right. That, like, all you see all them little ripples in it, in the cord. Yeah, but it still works, so we're gonna keep on keeping on. So let's pull a vacuum now. We've let out all the nitrogen. In here we're at 0. We're done with nitrogen. We'll tighten these things back up. The yellow, or actually, yeah, all 3 hoses. We'll tighten them up. We're gonna evacuate with this one too. I'll do that one, Jim, if you want to get this one here. Tighten that up, and then put the yellow. Do the yellow on the other one, so that's tight. We'll open it up.
Wait, so I put the yellow one right here?
Yep, that way it's pulling from both sides, just like so. We'll open up our valves on both sides, so it's vacuum time. Got it? Let's see if this compressor is going to work out for us here. All right. Right there. Now we're going to watch these numbers. We want microns. So while we're pulling this down, it's already negative, right? So as we're pulling the system down, we're going to do the electrical capacitors. So anytime you change out a compressor, you have to change out the capacitor. And this particular compressor has a different capacitor size. So don't just think that the old compressor used the capacitor size. That's going to be the same for the new one, because compressors can change, right? So that's what we're doing right now. So we're going to add two separate capacitors, one for the compressor alone and then one for the fan itself. So you just add from the common here, you just add from here a jumper, so you can charge up the other capacitor for the fan. So the fan is done right there, but we still need to add the start winding of the compressor to the capacitor for the compressor. We're going to do that on the other side right here. But the compressor also needs to run while it's not engaged to the start winding. So we're going to use these two wires here. So we're going to do a black over here. Tie it in just like that to the top of the contactor. The other one doesn't have that connector, so we'll make sure that's tight. Make sure you're getting in there, Jim.
Sure.
Come on over here, buddy. So this one, we're going to go to the other side of the contactor. We'll put it right on top, just like that. Just like so. Actually, this is... Actually, that one, that is your other side for your fan. So we are going to use that connection from the compressor. I thought they were pulling a fast one. So we're going to drop this down right on top of that. Just like that, right there. So now we have all our deals tightened up. And so now we're going to just tidy everything up right there. So it's good, Jeff? Okay, as you can see, to the top left, we're pulling a vacuum. We're already at 1600 microns, and we're going down. So we want to get a deep vacuum on this thing. It took a little bit because we're also pulling a vacuum from inside this condensing coil, along with our line set and the indoor coil that's in the closet right there. But it's going good. Alright, so we noticed that the vacuum wasn't pulling, so I isolated the outside unit from the line set inside, pressurized it, and found a leak at the indoor coil. So yeah, it's a small leak. I was pulling about 1100 microns, but it's still leaking. So we're gonna try to find that coil and recommend replacements. For a replacement for it. So what we're going to do right now is re-pull a vacuum on that, and then we're going to fire up this compressor, charge it up, get them going. Tighten up all the hoses. There we go. And I'll bring you back once we're charging it up. Alright, so we just started up the unit. Compressor sounds good on startup. We're going to let our pressures build up. We just cleaned that coil over there. Didn't clean right here, but 75% of the coil is clean. We're going to let the pressures rise. Ethan, go get the meter so we can check the amp draw.
Yes,
So we'll check the amp draw on the new compressor. Sounds good. Compressor sounds good. And it's pumping, so we're gonna let that coil heat up a little bit before we start adding any refrigerant. So since we washed the coil, the pressure's gonna be low until it warms up, and then we'll get its real pressure. I want to get, it's that one? Nope, 0.9. That is your fan. All right, so we're at 9.4, 9.48. The it should rise a little bit as the load increases. So that's a good amp draw for that compressor.
Is the compressor on yet?
Yep. The original amp draw. $25. We're well under that. But that compressor kicked on, no problem. That was a nice startup. Okay, so right now it's starting to hit that point where our pressures are rising. Our condensing coil, after cleaning it, it's drying up, and so now we're removing heat. So now we have now we're going to look closer at our suction line temperature, which is 68 degrees, and then our superheat, because it's a piston inside fixed orifice. We want to focus on superheat. So we're 36 degrees superheat for 410A. We do have a subcool. We are subcooling outside. That makes sense.
Should it be dropping liquid? Or should liquid be coming
So
out?
I'm adding some more refrigerant to it right now. What?
Should there be stuff coming out of here?
Say it.
And should there be water coming out of the drain pipe?
Not yet.
Because the inside is
Wet or dry?
dirty.
Yeah, gooey. So it's going to take a while for that coil to condense evaporate and drop water. Or condense. Yeah, there you go. So we're closing this up. We're going to watch these numbers some more. We're probably going to need to get that other jug, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Maybe. We want that number right there to be in the low 20s, teens. It's starting to do something. We'll give it another 5 minutes, let it equalize, and then see if we want to add refrigerant. All right, buddy. Let's get an amp draw, see how much higher. 12.4. That'll work. Look here. Look at our superheat now. Woo! 4. It's cold. Pressures are good. That's where we want it. All right, guys. We're right behind an old chateau. Look at that little fella. Wow. I bet you that thing's got some stories. Class C. I like campers, man. I just always have loved campers. Yeah. But I bet you this one here has the old 70s carpet. No, this is probably 96, 98 model. Let me get a side view here and see if we can. Nope, we can't. It's too big. Anyways, come on, somebody. So yeah, there's the service call. Actually, that's a replacement of that compressor. Man, everything went perfect. Smooth, until I started pulling a vacuum. This is why it's so important to do a deep vacuum and get a micron, a low micron number, because something was wrong. It was stuck at 1200. So I pressurized it, I soap bubbled it, I couldn't find any leaks. So I pressurized it to, I cut off the outside unit to the inside unit, and I did evaporator coil check. And it was perfect. Like, not perfect, but that pressure showed me right away that the indoor coil was leaking. But it was a small leak on the capillary tube, so I'll show a picture. And but anyways, man, frustrating. But it was such a small leak that I was able to give them a couple of days of cooling, whatever, until we get that coil replaced. Charged it up, man, that compressor sounded good. The old compressor was an Emerson. The new compressor replacement was a LG. So Carrier likes that. So that's what they do. But anyways, charged it up good. That thing is cooling like never before. Cleaned out the outside coil, because the chickens were kicking dirt up into that coil. So anyways, more than likely the old compressor went out because it lost refrigerant, and the head pressure went boom, sky high, because that condensing coil. More than likely, but don't know for sure. But they're cooling, ready to go. Jim, what do you got to say, buddy? So Jim wants to say something.
Make sure you subscribe if you liked it.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe if you liked it. Man, straight up out of that. You know, kids, they tell you exactly what's on their mind, right? So, but anyways, so that's the call. Again, things aren't always as they seem, of course. Multiple issues here on this call, but that compressor change out was right on. The compressor, I want you to think about it like this. Hopefully you're not bouncing too much, but the compressor is like the heart of a human being. And if the compressor is a pump that pumps refrigerant like your heart pumps blood. Okay? So really, we did heart surgery on this. So now, let's talk about life for a moment. We all need heart surgery. All of us. We need a new heart. God promises to put a new heart if we ask. So, the old man, gone, brand new. Ezekiel 36, 26 through 28. In those days, I will give you a new heart, God says. And I will put in you a new spirit. And I will put my spirit inside of you, so you can do what's right. Crazy, but wonderful. Hey, I hope you like this video. Man, share it, comment, anything. If you've dealt with these LG compressors, what do you think about them? What do you think about the Emerson Scrolls, Copelands? Let me know what you think. I hope you learned something today. Until next week.